13 years ago, I started a blog as a hobby called Wear Wag Repeat. And at the time, and maybe even still, my two favorite things were dogs and style and fashion. And so at the time, there was really no fashion and dog blog. There was no one out there who was combining like dog mom lifestyle with dog content on the internet. So I was really one of the very first dog mom influencers, believe it or not. Before I started really creating a presence online, a lot of people were posting their dog stuff, and then there was like fashion influencers doing their fashion stuff. And I saw an opportunity to combine the two. However, the dog people ended up being a lot nicer than the fashion blogger people. And so the blog really kind of went in the dog direction because those were the people who were commenting on stuff. Those were the posts that were getting the most traffic. And that really kind of inspired the direction that I've been taking for the past 13 years is just because dog people are super friendly on the internet, and it's a great community to be a part of. And not that fashion is not, but it was just a lot more competition to get into that area of content creation, which at the time, nobody was saying content creation, but that's the buzzword now. And so I've been doing that for the past 13 years or so. And along the way, a lot of people asked me, how did you grow your blog? How did you grow your email list to 10,000 people? How do you do a podcast? How did you make an online course? And so I started teaching other petpreneurs how to grow their business online using all of the digital marketing stuff that I've become really good at. So all that's kind of been simultaneously happening along the way. I do have a podcast called the Wear Wag Repeat podcast, where I've interviewed hundreds of women in the pet industry and also done a lot of solo episodes behind the scenes of how I do what I do. And I have a brand new podcast that is about dog enrichment. So maybe 4 years ago or so, my dog Lucy inspired me to get more into trick training and more into enrichment. And I got certified as a canine enrichment technician. And I've had a lot of fun creating content around that and just showing people that, giving your dog the best life possible doesn't have to be difficult or complicated or expensive. It can be fun and easy for both of you.
I love it. There's so much in that. There is so much.
You've done a whistle-stop tour of everything in that, I think.
Yeah, there's lots. Okay, so talk.
I like to be busy.
Yeah, sounds it. I love it. I think this is why we've connected. Like we're all on the busy plane. Okay, so tell us about them. Did you go into any of this consciously thinking that you wanted this to be a business model, or was it purely this, like, I love the fact that you've even referenced it as a buzzword now, but like actually going in with this content creator, the influencer mindset and just seeing what happens? What was the thought process?
Yeah, so you have to imagine 2012. There was no Reels, there was no TikTok. I don't even think there was Instagram stories. It was a very, very different digital landscape. Blogs were still really in their heyday. People weren't really doing podcasts. Podcasts had existed and kind of people thought they had already had their bubble and already burst. So in 2012, it was just a very different world that we lived in digitally. There was not as much going on. And so I'd had a blog prior to Wear Wag Repeat that was just kind of a hobby that was about eco-friendly fashion. And I discontinued that blog and was doing my job. I was a social media consultant for local businesses. So I did have my own business at the time, and I really enjoyed that. And I just needed a creative outlet. And that's why I started Wear Wag Repeat. I had a 1-year-old Labrador, and I loved Pinterest, and that was really what my early blog was like. It was dog photos, Pinterest DIYs, fashion photos, all kind of combined together, and it was really just a creative outlet and a hobby. So I did not go into this thinking that it was going to be my business. If I had known that, I might not have called it Wear Wag Repeat, because no one can say that. But I went into it with just a passion for sharing, what I love. And I think that, while sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I had known this was going to be a business, I would have done things really differently. I do think, on the other hand, since I do have such a passion for this, I've seen other people think, oh, I think I could make a buck in the dog space, but they're not really passionate about it. And so they end up burning out or just losing interest in it. But since I am genuinely really passionate about this, I think that's why I've been able to keep going for 13 years.